Okay, we just set up. And look at this. And this guy right here has not stopped talking. Amazing.
If you guys are here talking about lies, then I'm going to come and combat that. You can get me kicked out of here.
No, I don't care. I want you to open your mind. You're on my YouTube channel.
Oh, that's great. How many views am I going to get?
I don't know.
Join the Stockton Geology Club.
Yeah.
Also, if you're interested, join the Stockton Geology program.
So does anybody want to know the evidence? Anybody want these? You can look it up. Everything on the banners is at the bottom of the card. You can look it up. Everything on the banners is at the bottom of the card. You can look it up. Everything on the banners is at the bottom here. You can look it up yourself.
Are they facts?
Absolutely.
I disagree.
This is science. Well, I have 60 seconds and I can prove you otherwise.
You cannot.
I can.
You. I promise you can.
Will you give me 60 seconds?
Okay,
come on. You have to come to the banner. Sorry. Okay, this is the flat earth map. It's called the Gleason's map. It's in the Boston Library. All the world organizations use the flat earth map. It's also in the White House Situation Room and Air Force One, but they leave off Antarctica. I don't think they want you to know that it goes around the outside edge. Okay? There's many ways they could have put it on there. Here we have star trails. You know what that is? All right, you fix your aperture, your camera at the North Pole, which is Polaris, the pole star. It's not one of the pole stars, it's the pole star. Because remember, North Pole's in the center. Antarctica goes around. Okay? So if you leave the aperture open, you'll get these star trails. That's what that does. It's the way the stars move. Okay? They're perfect circles. Now, let me see, where's that other, right here. This is what they teach us in the school. They say the Milky Way's moving, they say the sun's moving, and all the planets are trying to catch up. So do you think with that, you're going to get that? I don't. So that's one thing. There's also this. Reflection. Here we go, reflection. If it's a flat surface, you're going to get a line. A line, this is reality, okay? But if it's a curved surface, like you take a piece of glossy paper and you bend it and you go up to a light bulb and you'll only get a spot. That's what that is, okay? So, what do you want to deal with? You want to deal with reality. Science has to match reality, doesn't it? That's why. All right. Everything on the banners is right down here at the bottom. Everything on the banners is down here at the bottom.
Thank you.
Open minds.
I have one.
Sure you can.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Type that whole thing in and you'll get everything that's on the banners. And no one will know that you're being smart. Type that in at the bottom. The flat earth map is on the other side. Okay, would you like one? Everything on the banners is down here at the bottom. You type that in and you get all the information on the banners.
I mean, do you believe when you look at the sun is 93 million miles away or something? I mean, yes.
Okay?
Yes. When you can see
everything on the banners is down here at the bottom. You just type that in. Anybody want one?
Anyway, have a good
No?
Hey, take some notes. If you like real science, if you want to be a part of real science, I have a science team, Stockton Geology Club right here. I'm going to be a
Well, there's 200 proofs. Right on this is 200 proofs.
You have to get a plane.
That's your field of vision. I've been in an airplane. My dad was a pilot.
Outside of Earth?
What do you mean outside of
I
Earth?
mean, have you went into like the little...
There's only one, NASA only took one picture of the Earth, and that was through a porthole. We have forensic people who do forensic photography, and they could tell it was a porthole. They lied. They are lying to us. You have to start to think for yourself. There's all this proof on here. Look, is that reality right there? That's a flat surface. It does not happen on a curved surface. Yes, the water is flat. The oceans are all flat with each other.
Well, then we have the crust and all that, which is under us. That's like the
So does that mean
I don't go there. All I'm doing is the surface of the Earth to Antarctica, and that's it.
The surface is flat, but then outside of that is round.
But when you have the North Pole
Really?
and the South Pole-
So from one end to the other end of the Earth, it's all flat.
Yes.
Okay, good. So what's the round part?
Up and down.
Oh, it's like, who's not?
No, there's only North Pole. North Pole is the center. Did you know a compass down in Australia? Excuse me, a compass in Australia.
See?
What picture?
You said there was only one to take.
Right.
Listen.
Let me get more. If you're in Australia, your compass will point to the North Pole, which is in the center. It does not point south. There's only one place that it points.
Okay, all right. Take it into consideration.
Anybody else? Type it in.
Let me see.
Hey, be nice.
I asked you like
I have to
questions.
slap you upside the head. No, I'm
Listen, I
kidding.
respect
I'm
you.
kidding. I was, how can you be doing that when you're starting to learn here something?
Because I'm uninterested.
Oh,
But
then why you take that?
Because my friend said get her one.
Type this in, and then you'll begin your journey. Do you have a question? You're welcome. Sure.
Thank you.
Type that in and you'll get the videos that's on the banner.
Thank you.
Yeah, did you get one before?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I just got here. Thank you.
All right, you have to explain to us your basic belief of all this.
Okay, first off, it's not a belief. The spinning ball is the belief.
Okay.
You really think about it, we're a spinning ball magically holding on water onto a spinning ball?
That's what we're told,
Consider
yeah.
this a theory, though.
No, I think it's fact. Okay?
Has it been completely proven?
Well, it's
to
just
where-
not
You
accepted.
say it was a law.
There are many laws on here.
All right, but
Many laws.
But flat Earth being a theory, would you consider
It's not
that enough?
accepted by the government.
So it's not
That's
a law.
the problem with it.
But is it accepted in the scientific community?
It depends on what you call scientific community, because we have a lot of scientists.
By a general.
Not the
form of
mainstream.
college.
It's not mainstream. You know that. So does that mean that you just go along with the majority on whatever they want to do? You know, lemmings.
There's enough proof.
You know, lemmings jump off of cliffs too because they're in a herd. So you don't want to do that, right? So you want to think for yourself.
If I drop both of these things,
What you want to do?
they're going to hit the ground.
Yeah, I agree that there's a rate of fall. I agree with that. There's a rate of fall.
And it
But
happens every day.
what
I'm saying
is it?
I can believe
Yes,
that gravity
but-
is real. I'm saying
Now wait,
is there
no,
enough evidence is this?
no, wait.
But it,
Well,
gravity
could there
affects everything
possibly
at the same
be
time.
another explanation for the why it falls?
Absolutely, there
Okay,
could be another
good.
explanation. I'll
So
agree with that.
gravity pulls to the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
What if there's another explanation that says we're actually being pushed down? What if there is that? I believe.
I would listen to that.
Okay,
I would
good.
wanna
I'm
see
going to
evidence
explain
for
that
it.
to you. I believe that it's a torus field. We live in a torus field. The North Pole, the electricity comes up out of the North Pole, excites the elements. That's why we have the aurora borealis, which is nowhere else on Earth. Then the electricity comes up and it goes around the dome, which there is a dome because we look at lightning sprites, S-P-R-I-T-E-S. Look that up, lightning sprites. They come off the dome, you can see that, okay? Then it goes through, there's free-flowing electricity, goes through the sun, which is a filament. It's a filament, it's not hot burning gases. Then it goes through the moon, which is a different, like a negative. The sun is positive, the moon negative. Then it goes down to Antarctica, which I believe there could be warm lands. There have been reports in ancient documents of warm lands beyond the coast of Antarctica. So you have to just take that into consideration.
I have a question for you as the waning and waxing of the moon. If there is a flat, would you agree that the sun rotates, or that the Earth rotates around the sun?
No.
So
the sun, the moon, the stars, everything is within the dome. You know, everything is within the dome.
Okay. But my question to you is, like, how would you explain? We see it all the time, the waning and waxing of the moon.
Right, they're different phases.
When it's waning,
did you know?
You can clearly see a curvature of the Earth. My question.
No. That's not what it is. The Earth never gets between the moon and the sun. No. You know what it is? There were some guys who went up in an airplane to film the eclipse.
No, I have not.
And what they found was other orbs up there. A guy caught 5 of them. There are other heavenly bodies that we're not being told about. And some of them could be like red translucent orbs.
What's the name of this flight?
Orbs, they were going up to look at the eclipse.
No, the name of the flight. That's the name of it, orbs.
The name of the flight?
Yes.
I don't know.
The men that did this.
The men went up to film the eclipse. Just look at it on YouTube and see. They went up to look at the eclipse and they found orbs. They filmed them.
Okay.
So there could be orbs up there. There could be translucent red orbs, which could be Jupiter's spot, which is moving past Jupiter, and then it looks like it's rotating when it's not. There could be the red moon, when that red orb got in front of the moon. Do you know that the moon goes across the equator 26 times a year? Yeah. So there's a lot we're not being told. And I would suggest you just start here and then start looking into other things that you're interested in, like the phases of the moon.
Okay.
That's what I suggest.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, guys? Look, if you look this up here, you get everything that's on the banners. You interested? Sure. Are you interested? You're fine? Guess what? You're not fine until you know we live on the plane. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I can go through this in 60 seconds.
Okay.
This is the flat Earth map, which you have on the card that you didn't take.
Wait, come on.
So the North Pole is in the center. Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge. There are many world organizations which use the flat Earth map, but they leave off Antarctica, because I don't think they want you to know. There's a lot of ways they could have put it on there. Here's the star trails, okay? Star trails is when you point your camera at Polaris, which is the pole star, there's only one, and you leave the aperture open and the stars move and they create these circular patterns. So, what do they teach us in the school? They teach us this, where the Milky Way is moving and the sun is moving and all the planets are trying to catch up. That's what they teach us. Do you think you would get this from that? I don't. Okay? So now here's something else. There's a curvature formula, and it's on the card that you didn't take again. Right here, a curvature formula. And this is Chicago across Lake Michigan. 60 miles across Lake Michigan. Actually, 51 miles, I'll give you that figure, which is 1,700 feet. That's a 170-story building. Well, how come we can see Chicago then? Because it's flat. That's why. There's no curvature.
If the Earth is flat, how come all the other planets are not?
Pardon?
Why are we the only one that's not? Why are we the only planet that's not circle? Where everything else we know.
Oh no, the Earth is a circle right here. It's like a pizza.
A sphere.
No.
A three-dimensional figure.
You don't know. You prove to me that any planet is a sphere.
But
moon.
how are we
We've
so
been to
sure
the moon.
that they're
No, we have not been to the moon. You cannot land on it. It's a filament. It's not terra firma. If you look at the moon on a nice day, you look at the moon, you can see a sliver and the rest is blue. At nighttime, You see that sliver and it's dark, but you can see light through it. There's stars through
I have
it.
a question about your theory on the
shadow
properties
from
of
the
water.
earth.
Okay.
I am confused on the shape that you're trying to explain.
It's like a circle
Okay.
flat.
See?
Water is fluid.
Water is this, always flat on the top.
Okay.
It never curves on the top if it's liquid, any liquid. And it never does this either to conform to the bottom like that.
Yeah. So
What's the question?
how is that proving that the Earth is flat?
Because all the oceans are flat with each other. They are
As I
all
said before,
flat
water is
with
a
each
liquid,
other.
so it conforms to whatever shape it is. So that's kind of expected.
Yeah,
despite
but
the
it,
shape of
but
the Earth.
but it will spill out unless it's confined. And Antarctica,
Gravity is a
no, Antarctica is our bathtub. That's the edge of our bathtub. Pardon?
You actually believe all this, right?
No, I know it.
Completely believe
I
it?
absolutely know
You
it.
can say that you know it, but at the same time, until you
You show me one thing that I've said that's wrong. One thing. No, you can't. You can't. This is just different than what you've been taught all
what's
your life.
wrong is the fact that you think the Earth is flat. Period.
No, what's wrong
If
is that you think that we live on a spinning ball that holds water onto it. That's what's
Gravity.
wrong. No,
There's
do-
a gravitational.
You come
could there possibly be another explanation for gravity? Could there possibly be?
Magic.
No, wait. Things drop. I agree that there is a rate of fall. I
Okay.
agree with that. Could there possibly be another explanation for why it falls?
You know what? How about this one? We'll go with this one.
Why?
How is it
Why it
that
falls?
if we fly from China to California, we're going around, but if it's flat,
No, that's not true.
We're not going.
No, that's
we're
not
just
true.
Fly right off the side.
That's not true. We don't go around. We do not follow the parallels. We do not follow the latitude lines when flying. Did you ever look at Flight Pass?
Yes.
No, you never did, because you would know above the equator or inside the equator, it's always an arc. It's always an arc. Below or outside of the equator, you always go above the equator before you go back down. And we have those here, look. Those are flight paths.
We're not flying above Antarctica.
okay.
We're flying around the ocean.
No, you're not. You have to look at the flight paths.
Do you believe when NASA took pictures of the Earth how you saw the reflection?
There's only one picture that NASA ever took of the Earth from a high-flying U-2 plane. That's the ISS. It's really does not go outside. There's only one picture, and that was taken through a porthole.
Another thing to take into consideration.
What
What is the thickness of the Earth?
I don't know.
Okay, so then how can we? Okay, have fun.
I don't know.
So if you don't,
We
know,
only dug 8 miles deep. That's the deepest hole anybody ever dug. 8 miles.
Okay.
Because I believe that's an act.
Fracking, you would go farther than
Can
8
you
miles?
explain anything like natural disasters such as
What does that have to do with the flatness of the
tectonic
air?
plates?
What does it have to
Because
do with
if
it?
the Earth was flat and we had this many earthquakes and this many tsunamis and so on and so forth, I feel as though it would have broken apart.
That's also how you calculate.
You don't know that.
But that's also how you
But
calculate.
you also don't know that the Earth is
No,
flat. You're
Cheska.
just coming off of theory.
No, that's not true
That's
either.
how you calculate the
No, it's
epicenter.
not.
Okay, why is it not true? How do you calculate the epicenter?
So
of an
you're
earthquake?
saying there is no epicenter for an earthquake that's like to the center of the earth.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
That's what happens when there's.
That's what you believe, but that has nothing to do with anything I'm teaching. I'm not going to teach about
How
earthquakes.
many years have you studied this?
2.5.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Against how many years of research against so many
No,
other
against
scientists?
no, it's against the system. You live in a system, which is
I definitely believe that there's a system where
There's a
we
system.
conform to it.
yes, we
But
do,
there is fact
and
and
we
opinion.
believe everything they tell us. We are like sheep.
We don't believe everything that they tell us.
Yes, we do.
Just because we don't create our own idea on the fact that
Is there anything on this banner?
Does not necessarily mean
Is there
that we-
anything on this banner you'd like to discuss? I'm not going to go into your la la land. I'm not doing that.
This is your La La Land. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I don't have earthquakes here. All right.
Wait, you don't have earthquakes on this earth?
No, on my banners.
So I flew from California to Australia, only over a body of water. How did that happen?
Okay, California to Australia.
Only over a body of water.
It goes this. California, it's right there, right?
Yeah.
To Australia. Straight line.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So you.
The sun and the moon are.
What time are you guys supposed to be there until?
Can you be here like all week?
I mean, we're going to be doing
So when the sun rises here.
Okay.
So how do you think night and day works?
Oh, easy. Right here. The sun travels around the Tropic of Cancer, which is smaller than on the globe.
The sun is bigger than the Earth.
No. No, you cannot. This is totally different. I'm going to show you a totally different model than you think about which makes more sense. Okay? So don't argue with me about what I'm telling you. Just think about it and go home and think about it.
Okay.
The sun is small and it's local. Really, if you think about this, if the sun were 93 million miles away, just the tilt of the Earth would cause seasons? That makes no sense to me. Indirect rays causes seasons? No, that's garbage. So look, the sun goes around the Tropic of Cancer. Did anybody ever hear of the book of Enoch? It's not in the Bible. Did you ever hear that? That talks about the gates of the sun. The sun actually does the moving around us. It goes around us. Follows this, then it moves out. This is the equinox, that's the equator. Goes around us. Then it goes to Capricorn. And you know what? When it's down there in Capricorn, it goes very fast. It changes speeds, just as if it were on a string. It has to, in the same 24-hour period, it has to go faster to get the 24 hours done. So Book of Enoch was written by Enoch. But
Who is that?
he's an ancient guy.
So an ancient guy.
There's a lot of ancients. If you guys don't look into ancient literature, then you're going to be lost.
I'm trying to. Where is he from?
Sounds like he was smoking.
Look it up on the internet, but it's a good.
Have you ever met him? I understand that. What proof do you have that the sun is
Talk to the hand. I'm not going to have someone disrespect me. So you can
The
go.
concept of gravity, like you understand how that works and why we have a gravitational pull and why we.
The thing I agree that there is a rate of fall. Okay, that's evident. We can prove that. We can do it over and over again. But what is making it fall? What is it? Is it a force that pulls us to the center of a ball? Or is it something else? Does anybody think it could be possibly something else? Because I've got something. What? No. We're answering his gravity question.
It's gravity. What else
Could it possibly? Okay, you're open now to that? Okay.
It is gravity.
If it's something else, I want to. If anybody thinks it could possibly be something else, let me know and I'll tell you.
I'm not challenging you. I just want to know.
She wants to know, so I'm telling her. You be quiet. So there's something called a torus field. Do you know about electromagnetics? A torus field looks like a donut, doesn't it? She knows, okay? So don't give me any lip. So the electricity, you know there's free-flowing electricity up there, right? Smart girl. It comes up out of the North Pole, and that gives us the aurora borealis right there. The electricity excites the elements in the atmos. Then it comes up further, and it goes around, and it hits the dome. There is a dome because we look at lightning sprites, S-P-R-I-T-E-S, and we can see it coming off the dome. So there has to be a physical barrier up there. Somewhere there's a physical barrier.
So when they go to space, what is it? It's not gravity.
So let me finish this. So it comes around and it goes through the sun, which is a positively charged filament, then the moon, which is a negatively charged filament, then it goes down behind the Antarctic coastline somewhere. I'm not going past the Antarctic coastline. So, space. Did you know that they call space a vacuum? Okay, so you show me one scientific experiment where you can have a vacuum and air pressure without a physical barrier.
And I also respect the fact that you
I see a lot of glitch faces. There is no physical barrier. What? There's between vacuum of space and the atmosphere. Is there a physical barrier? Show me one experiment where you can have a vacuum without a physical barrier. You can't do it. So there has to be something. Now you know what NASA calls it? The Van Allen radiation belts, right? Right? No. You know what NASA does and our government does? You know what they do? Every time they don't want you to investigate something, they say, you're gonna die. They make it sound scary. And then we don't go there. So you have to look this up, type this in, and you will get everything on the banners.
Sources for that? Like, where'd you get this?
Yeah.
You guys have one?
Yeah.
My theory on Night and Day is it was from another ancient guy that I saw. So if you look like one day they shut the lamp on.
Do you know what?
Turn the lamp off.
Do you really think that? Are you being sincere with me?
Yeah.
Well, then I think you need to go back to high school.
So I'm trusting the YouTube channel over that. Where they teach flat Earth? Where you walk up the
Once you figure out the matrix, you figure this out.
Are the sources for that information on this channel? Where are they from? Like in that book of Enoch?
Oh, you have to look that
No,
up.
I did look it up. It's a religious text.
No, it's not. No, anytime the government does not want us to look at something, they call it religious. You know what religion is?
Religious work ascribed by
You said that the sun is smaller than the earth.
The sun is smaller.
3,000, like what evidence of that do you have?
When I have the sun shining on me and a cloud comes by, I can feel there's a temperature change. That would not happen if their sun was 93 million miles away. It does not cause the seasons. She's next.
Like you say that, but like what? Like that's your opinion. Like
No,
what facts do you
okay.
have to prove that?
So you
feel
figure it
change
out.
temperature, but that, like,
Did you know that moonlight is colder than moon shade? Did you know that? We have experiments on that. You need to do some
What does
studying.
that have to do with that being flat?
I don't know. Why'd you bring it up?
Why'd you bring it up?
You brought it up.
You said that moonlight.
So
is
what was
hotter
your question?
So you've been to a beach, right?
Yes.
So you've seen the tides, right?
The tides?
Tides.
Yes.
What is your theory on how the tides work?
Okay, the tides, we are studying the tides. Now, what causes that? There's a lot of opinions on that. I don't think it's just the moon.
Well, then,
It could be the moon and the sun together. It could be electromagnetic forces. It could be that there's they call it the earth breathing. It could be something like that.
shouldn't you believe that after a few years of scientific evidence that...
No, I don't believe anything the government tells me.
Well, it's not really the government, it's more like...
No. No. Have you ever been to the ocean? Did you know that the horizon is always at your eye level? No matter how high you go. When you're in an airplane, it's at your eye level. When you're on Mount Everest, it's you know what it is? It's perspective. There are two planes coming together, the sky and the land. That will not happen on a spinning ball.
Oh, wait, you said there's two planes coming together. The sky and the land. What do you like? Show me like.
If you're on a lower level and the sun sets, you can see it while you're higher.
And when you say there's two planes, are they parallel or are they intersecting?
When you're looking out, that should eventually drop off. It should go down. It never does.
I've done it before.
Okay,
If you're laying down, if you're laying down, you can see the sun set, and then you stand up, and then you see how
The sky meets the water at some point. That is the point where the earth.
and down there, no, that's not true.
Then what is it?
That's not true.
Then explain to me what you say.
It's the vanishing line. That's what it is.
But what is that?
It's where the two planes come together and you can't see beyond
You're
that.
saying that the planes come together and intersect.
In your eyes, they do.
So you're saying that these planes intersect. That's what you were saying.
In your eyes, they do. But if you have a P900 professional camera, you can zoom in on any ship that's going over the curve and bring it back into focus. 85 miles that zooms.
I understand we're tabling, I understand we're having a conversation, but there are classes in session, so I do need you to keep your voices down
Some of this conversation is interrupting some of the classes that are going on. Okay? Thank you.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it, but that's okay.
What is the relationship between
Well, there's another geocentric model called, it's a movie called The Principle. But he believes in a ball, but the ball's the center, and there's a model where the sun and planets go around that, and that works too. And so I saw that first. And then I saw, well, wait, there's flat Earth. So what is the difference here? And flat Earth convinced me that we live on a plane, and that's in the center. Now, I think because there's a dome and there's water outside of the dome, okay, I think that we live in a crystalline sphere, and that's like that donut. And it's a sphere, and that would be logical for geometrically holding back water.
Space have any mass to it? Is there a substance there?
I don't know what's beyond Antarctica. So I'm not going to go there. But you can watch it, you can study it, and you can postulate what that is. I'm not doing that.
Have you ever flown around the world?
Well, not around the world, no.
Have you started from point A and then went to point A again?
You mean circumnavigate?
Sure, have you done that?
No, did you?
That's weird.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I have actually.
Oh, good. So what does that prove? That you can go around?
In one section and went around.
Yeah, you can go around, or you can go around. It's still the same thing.
So if you're in California and you're going to Japan, why do you go that way instead of going this way?
For you to go around the way that
It always goes up.
For you to go
It always does.
For you to go
you
around
look
the way
at
that
you
you
look
said
at airplane flight paths. When you're inside the equator, they always go towards the North Pole, because if you take a string, it is. You take a.
I've left from Texas to Maine to Germany, and they went that way. Weird.
Well, if you went to Maine and then Germany, yeah, that's up and around. That's up and around. Where's the? Okay, Texas, Maine, Germany. Oh wait, Germany's over here. So Texas, Maine, Germany. That's above.
Because you stop to get fuel so that you don't run out of fuel crossing the ocean.
Well, did you know that jet engines really they operate on pressurized air? Did you know that?
It sucks in air, yes.
No, they work on pressurized air.
But you say they
That's
work on-
something that we've been researching.
It's their fuel.
We have been researching that. Isn't that fascinating? Guess what else I'm going to tell you?
I love hearing.
Did you know Devil's Tower? You know what that is? A mesa. It's a rock formation that's comes up and then it's flat on the top. That we think that those are ancient tree stumps. That the basalt is actually plant fibers because it's hexagonal, and it's petrified plant fibers. Look into that. It's fascinating. I'm not teaching that today, but I thought it would be interesting. Does anybody have a question on the banners? And that one. Actually, my father was a math teacher, and he also flew off aircraft carriers. I have a degree in business and finance from Ursinus College, and my son is a physics major. So,
To have your
you know what?
opinions, you don't need to be specified in the field.
If the Earth is flat, then some of physics has to be questioned, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Well, you don't know that because you never looked into it. Pardon?
You've flown around the world.
I don't? Sure I do. Sure I do. I study physics. It's right here. Oh, it's not? You show me one thing on here that's wrong.
Boat pushes off water.
I'm sorry?
You're trying to prove to me.
How does a boat push off water?
Books are being sent in schools.
Boats propel off the water.
Yeah, so when you have a propeller, it works because you have it fan shaped that pushes.
It pushes off the water,
it
darling.
sucks in and kicks back out.
I mean, you're really.
It's like
Do you know what a knit is? Do you know what knit is?
Like a knit as in a knitwear or a knit as in sewing?
No, a knit as in a lice egg. Do you know how small a lice egg is? That's what you're doing. You're picking lice eggs. That's how tiny you're trying to get your argument. Don't go there. look at the principles involved here.
Because you write it down doesn't mean can't be principles if they're not
That's
facts.
true. That's true.
It sucks in water. It's the
Wait,
same thing as
ma'am.
blowing out on your hand. You
So
same thing.
You have to prove to me that the Earth is flat. So
Really, okay. I am not gonna stand here and try to convince you at all. What I'm going to do.
that why you're here?
No, I am not here for a debate. I'm not here to debate.
what do you
All I'm here is to present you with evidence that you can think about and decide for yourself. That's all I'm doing.
All right, well, just prove to me that your evidence is true. It's not just fake.
So this is the flat Earth map that we have, the best map we have. Okay? North Pole's in the center, and Antarctica goes all the way around the outside edge.
How big is it?
Well, we think the equator is probably. Are you going to listen?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
We think the equator is 24,901, same as the globe model.
Okay.
So you have to figure this out. The curvature formula, which you can find on Google, is 8 inches times a mile squared. If it's a globe, you should see curvature. There's no curvature. We can't find it anywhere.
We can.
So, all the world organizations, I'm talking to this guy, all the world organizations use a flat Earth map, but they leave off Antarctica. I don't think they want you to know that it goes around the outside edge. That's why they leave it off. They could have put it on many ways.
Wait.
So I'm talking to him.
Wait. So where's your forces? Like what? Why is the Earth like that? Like why?
Okay. So come down here to this one. I'll show you. So here's star trails, okay? If you leave your camera open at North Pole, which is only one, there's only one pole, and you leave the aperture open, you'll get concentric circles over time because the stars move on above us, okay? Now, what they teach you, I'm sorry?
Well, according to everything is spinning.
Okay, so the Earth is still, and the stars move around us.
Why?
Because of this and because of these experiments, which they don't teach you. Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Sagnac, and Airy's failure, they all prove the Earth is stationary. You look them up. I'm not teaching you that part. You look that up. And you can find all that on that right there.
No, I'm just trying to see how.
Okay, I'm not going to give you 2.5 years. I'm going to give you enough that you want to look this up. That's what I'm going to do. And nobody will see you looking this up. Okay? Only what? That's fine. So this is what they teach you in school. The sun is in the Milky Way and the Milky Way's turning.
No, this isn't what they teach you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, everything is moving. And we're supposedly. How do you know that? Did you ever see a model of it working?
Yeah,
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
Not with it moving through the vast universe. We're supposedly moving like 500,000 miles an hour if you add them all up.
It's more than that. It's light years.
Okay, so you don't think we'd get something like that? What did you think we would get?
Well, they have diagrams. Definitely not that.
Well, what
is
you've
this?
seen is a stationary diagram with everything real nice and neat.
What is that?
That's the path of the sun, and all the planets are moving around it. So if it's moving, they have to be trying, that's their trails.
So
Okay.
you believe that's wrong?
I think that with that, you would never get star trails. You would never get this.
Why?
That's my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Okay? My educated opinion. You would never get this if you had
My
that.
educated opinion is you're wrong.
Okay, so then have a nice day. See ya. I can't do anything. If you're not willing to investigate it. No, I'm not going to prove you wrong. I am not proving you wrong. I'm just showing what we got. You think of it.
Talk to me about me proving you wrong. So that does not make any sense.
No, I'm not going to prove them wrong.
Have you been to the southern hemisphere?
I've been to Jamaica and Bermuda's not southern.
No.
But I have friends in South Africa.
And what do they see when they look up at the moon?
They see the moon, you only ever see one face of the moon.
Right.
Okay, and then it just goes around like that. It does not rotate.
Well, I mean, or it's rotating at the same, to keep the same face facing Earth all the time.
So it kind of like is on a string and it's like this.
Well,
I will go along with that.
Well, what's this do to gravity then? Because all of the physical constants in the universe are tied together. All the forces are tied together and point towards each other. So what happens to gravity in this case? Because I'm thinking if we have a flat Earth, gravity pulls things towards the center of mass. So if you are here, for instance, in South Africa or South America, you should be pulled this way, towards the center of mass of the disk of the Earth.
No.
Yeah.
No, not center of mass. It doesn't do that.
What does it do?
Did you hear my torus field explanation? No, you didn't.
No.
Okay. So I believe that there is a rate of fall. That's a given. We can see there's a rate of fall.
9.8 meters per second.
Yes. Okay, I agree with that.
Okay.
But what does that? What makes it do that? Okay. Now, the accepted model is gravity, that we are being pulled to the center of a ball. I don't think that. I think we live inside a torus field. Okay. Where there's electricity. You know, there's free-flowing electricity up in the atmosphere. You know that.
Well, there's some charge.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that it's like a donut, and it comes up out of the North Pole. Now look at me. Watch me. Comes up out of the North Pole, and it excites the elements like a neon sign. That's why we get the aurora borealis there.
Oh, but we know what those are. I mean, we know.
Okay, but that's what you know. I'm telling you this model.
So where do the?
You don't want to hear my model. I'm not going to.
No, I know. I totally want to hear.
Okay, well then be quiet. Okay, and I'll tell you. So it comes up out of the North Pole, it excites the elements of the atmosphere. That's the aurora borealis.
Okay.
Then it comes up and it hits the dome and goes out. Now we know there's a dome because of many things. One is lightning sprites, where if you study them, they come off the dome. And you can see they hit something up there.
Okay.
Okay? So then the electricity comes around, goes through the sun, which is a filament. The sun is a filament.
Okay.
And we think it's positively charged. And then it goes through the moon, which is negatively charged. Now that's just one theory. I'm not saying that's a fact.
Yeah.
And then it comes around, but it's like a torus field.
So it comes up from the
and it goes around like this.
And it goes around, okay.
Yeah, all the way, you know. Like a donut.
And so how does that generate force down?
Diamagnetism.
Positive and negative?
Diamagnetism is a force that pushes down, not pulling down.
So it's electromagnetism holding us to the.
Yeah. There's a lot of ancient things, like the guy who built Coral Castle.
Yeah.
He moved those 20-ton blocks all by himself. And I think he had some sort of electromagnetic force field
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
But you know, when you look at some of the large geoliths that people have made, large rocks and that sort of thing, they're actually finding that you can move those with a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of people, but you can also find ways to move things around that require almost no one at all. I've watched a guy move a 20-ton.
So there's a possibility that what I'm saying has some validity.
That one person could do it, yeah, but without.
Or that there's an electromagnetic force field that we are living inside, and we can manipulate it.
So, do you have an EMF detector? Have you ever looked for it to see how strong it is? Because if it's electromagnetic field, we should be able to.
I don't know. Maybe you should get in contact with some of our guys who do experiments and do one with them. I work with another science group. And we just did something on the equinox. So, you know, we try to collaborate with other science groups.
Yeah. No. So I mean, I think it would be interesting to see, because what you're saying is totally detectable. If it's there, it should be unambiguous to any EMF detector.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So check that out. Anyone else have a question? I'm not ignoring you. Just
what's underneath the Earth?
I don't know. What's outside of outer space? You don't know that either. Well,
it's constantly.
I don't know.
I just want to know what's underneath.
What?
You know what? This is mine.
You want a tinfoil hat?
No, I don't.
It opens your third eye.
You know what? When 5G comes around, you might need that. 5G.
What's 5G?
If you don't even know that?
No, I'm not that old.
Oh my gosh. Never mind. All right, do you have a question? Anyone have a question?
I have this question. I asked him, but I'm just curious what your opinion on it is.
What is it?
The changing in seasons and the determination of like different countries being hotter than other countries, the way that the sun rotates.
Yeah,
evenly.
over here I have it better. Whoops. One second. I got it. Okay. This is the flat Earth map, and then here we have Tropic of Cancer.
Okay.
Up here.
Sorry, I'm
this
like
is
kind of
the
blind.
equator.
Okay.
And this is a Tropic of Capricorn.
Okay.
Now, if you read the book of Enoch, which is an ancient text, it's not in the Bible, it will tell you that the sun goes through gates. Gates. When the sun moves, it goes through a gate, and how many days it stays in that position, and it's traveling around. Do you ever hear of quantum physics?
Wait, but when it goes through this gate, how long does it take to go through this gate?
That's what the book of Enoch will tell you, but we
I
know.
Can you tell me?
I know it stays up here in Cancer for 3 days, and then it goes back, starts going back down to the equator.
So is this like the gate or whatever? Like
no, I don't know about that.
Okay.
It just is on a path. It's on a path, like a track. And quantum physics will show you that you can have a super chill disk, and it will travel suspended in the air. So we have something that can replicate that model. So it's possibility that that's what it is. Now, the Tropic of Capricorn is much bigger than it is on a globe. When you have the globe, the Tropic of Capricorn is the same as the Tropic of Cancer because it goes back in. But in reality, we think that it is much larger because Captain Cook, when he went around Antarctica, he logged in 60,000 miles, whereas the equator is only 24,901. So 60,000 miles is very long, and that would go along with our model.
Right. Well, my question is like, when like